Want to soar? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we make these videos because you're the probably most ambitious person in your circle, and you get a push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, on Reprogram Your Mind for Success. Enjoy! Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Apply your vision to the trends.
You start with the vision, 100%. Just paying attention to the trends is not enough. You start with the vision. But you have to know the trends too. It's always both. I love Simon. I love being able to feature his content here on this channel. I love being able to react and share my opinion on it too. One of the things that bothers me the most about Simon is he's not doing enough on his YouTube channel. I think Simon is a genius. I think Simon has ideas that need to be heard. Ideas that need to get out there and be heard. I love his vision. He wants people to be inspired to go to work. Imagine a world where everybody was inspired to go to work. Wouldn't that be an amazing world? Right? I want to help Simon get that message out there. I'm in part doing it through these videos on my channel, but I want him to have a bigger presence on YouTube. Up until recently, he was barely even posting on YouTube, but now he's doing his really short videos. He's not having the impact that he should be having with his genius, with his vision, because he's not paying attention enough to the trends. And so it always has to be both. Guys, it has to be both. You have your vision, you have your mission, you have the thing that you love doing, the thing that you need to birth into existence. But if that's all you do, then you have a hobby. If you love the thing but nobody else cares, all you have is a hobby. It fills the soul. It feels great, but it never reaches other people, never has the impact that you want to have. If you only pay attention to the trends, then you're always chasing what the hottest thing is to do. If you don't have a vision and you're just chasing the quick buck and chasing the hottest trend for 2019, 2020, 2021, etc., you're never going to win because you're going to go up against people who love doing that thing. If you go into an industry because it's just a trend, there are people in that industry who love doing that thing, who love it. Love it. They bleed it. They think about it all day long. They love that thing. If you go up against them, chances are you're going to lose because it's just an idea for you. It's just a trend. You're just trying to chase something down. It's in that combination that works. The thing that you love doing with what there's demand for, with what's trending right now, smush those two things together. That's when you start building a business. That's when you start having an impact. And I want desperately for you to be able to do it for yourself too.
Rule number 2, flip the negativity.
You're never going to accomplish anything great if you're coming from a place of negativity. If you are just complaining and negative and blaming other people, you're never going to accomplish anything. It's just not going to happen. You can't create amazing things from a negative spot. It means that you have zero resourcefulness because there's no hope. And so you need to flip it. Now I'm going to give you a wild mind trick that I use that maybe is a little too weird duck for you, but I want to test it on you because if one of you picks it up, it'll dramatically change your life. It's my philosophy of changing negative situations and doing a quick mind trick in my head to say it's the best. So whenever I'm hit with a negative situation, something that is beyond my control, something that I can't do anything about, I will complain, I will be unhappy, I will be negative for 8 to 24 seconds. And then I'll tell myself it's the best, that this is the best thing that happened to me. And then I'll figure out why it's the best. So as an example, I'm on an airplane. I'm coming from Vancouver to LA. I'm speaking at an event in LA. I'm on a flight. It's a 5-hour flight. I get on, there's this really smelly dude next to me. Really smelly guy. He probably hadn't been on, in a shower in a couple days, probably had multiple transfers and stopovers, and I have empathy. I'm not pissed at him, I'm pissed at the situation, right? I'm sure he's normally a nice smelling guy and takes care of himself, but in this situation, he was super smelly and I had to deal with it. So what am I gonna do? I got a 5-hour flight. What are my options? I can not go. I could miss my flight and then not do my presentation. I could sit on the airplane and be upset for the next 5 hours and then be upset for the rest of the day and allow this minor situation to own me and to be better than me and ruin my entire day. Or I could say, this is the best. And that's what I did. For around 8 to 24 seconds, I'm sitting there trying to figure out my options. What options do I have? How can I fix this? There's no options. I'm screwed. And then I'm upset. I'm upset. This sucks. Come on, really? This is what I have to deal with for the next 5 hours? And then this is the best. And what do? Yep. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. Give it to me, because this is making me stronger. This is the best. This is actually the best. Why? Because it's my chance to show myself what I'm made of. That this smelly dude is not going to own me. That I am stronger than a little bit of smell on an airplane. And that the next time I get faced with a similar situation, I'm able to handle it. It's easy. It rubs off me. I think that's how you actually build self-confidence. That's how you actually build self-esteem. Because when it's easy, it's easy. Winning a race against 3-year-olds is easy. Doesn't mean anything. You're not going to clap that up. Yay, I beat a bunch of 3-year-olds. But when it's hard and you try, that's when you actually build self-esteem. And so flip it. Flip it in your mind. Flip it. This is the best. Whatever negative situation is in front of you right now, tell yourself it's the best.
Rule number 3, take action now.
It's easy to think about this plan of what you're going to do eventually and becomes this giant thing that then is impossible to do when you need venture capital funding to do it. Momentum. Momentum is the key. Momentum is what's missing from so many entrepreneurs in their businesses. Momentum. This week, it's amazing to have a vision that you're chasing down for the rest of your life. Awesome. I love it. You have a bold plan forward. Yes. What are you going to do this week? This week, the 2% difference. Stop planning to get to 100% and instead take the 2% action. Get 2% close to your vision happening. You have to take action this week.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, I've designed a special free training to help you do it. The science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a new habit. And I want that for you. I want you to build the habit of self-belief. So what I'm going to do is email you every day for 254 days a link to an unlisted video that will shift your belief forward. To get on it for free, the link to join is in the description below.
Find whatever the smallest first step is, and then the smallest next step is, and continue to build those steps. And when you look back, you'll have realized that you made some pretty significant progress.
You can use rejection as fuel to help you go off and do something bigger and motivation to, I'm going to prove them wrong.
It's got to be your life's work. If you only had to write one book ever in your life, this is it, and it's got to be amazing.
Rule number 4, live up to your potential.
The reason why you are not further ahead is you have told yourself that you are not capable of it. That's it. And you'll come up with really smart reasons that are based in logic as to why you're not more successful. You are a genius. You are excellent. And so you'll come up with really smart genius reasons as to why you are not further ahead right now. But at the end of the day, you're just afraid and you don't think you're capable. That's what I want to change in you today. So I sat down yesterday with an entrepreneur who is an up-and-coming entrepreneur. He's had a job for a long time. He's now in his mid-50s, and he got let go from his job, and he interviewed for another job, and it didn't feel it was a quite fit, and he didn't get the job, but he doesn't want to go back and get another job. He wants to now go do his own thing. But there's that gnawing little voice in your head that says, who am I to do this? Who am I to be an entrepreneur? Who am I to bring value to others? Who am I to make money off this idea? Why not just go play it safe and get a job working with somebody else? And his one word was getting down to saying yes. Like, you have to say yes. And so this is where it's really important. When you know what you stand for, when you know what your core value is, whenever you see it, and then you see your life not aligned with it, you're going to be unhappy. If you're unhappy, if you need more boldness, more motivation, more confidence, more courage, look to your most important core value. Look at what you stand for. Look at who you are. Because if your one word is all about saying yes to things, then you have to say yes. Right? You have to go off and do it, because otherwise you'll live your entire life in regret. So here he is, this entrepreneur who's now in his mid-50s, who's been let go from his job, who's now trying to start up his own career, his own thing, just got his first speaking gig, just getting started with his YouTube channel and podcast and building momentum. And that's what it's all about. He has all the skills, he has all the talents, he's been in this industry for decades, he knows what he's doing, and yet he's afraid. He's afraid that he's not good enough. He's afraid that it's not going to work out. He's afraid that people won't find his expertise, his knowledge valuable. And I think that's most people. I think everybody's a genius. I think you're a genius. I think you have Michael Jordan level talent, skills at something. You're just doing the wrong thing. And we're afraid. You're afraid to take action. You're afraid to do the thing. And so you'll live your entire life with regret, knowing that you are capable of more. You right now know you're capable of more. Even if your friends and family and the people around you say, wow, you're doing such a good job, you know you're capable of more and you're not living up to your potential. That's most people. And why are you not living up to your potential? Because you're afraid of what that means. You're afraid of the obstacles you have to overcome. You're afraid of the difficulties that you have to go through. You're afraid of being judged. You're afraid of a failure happening and it being catastrophic and you not being able to recover. You're just afraid. And so we need to crush that. We need to crush that. We need to teach yourself that you do scary things.
Rule number 5, tie your self-worth to the effort.
If you're trying something new, that's difficult and it's scary. Chances are you're gonna suck at the beginning. You're just gonna suck. It's okay, it's great. It doesn't mean you suck as a person, as a human. You just don't have the skills yet. But if you tie your self-worth to the effort, to say, I am proud of my effort, this needs to be your goal. That by the end of tonight, before you sleep, before your head hits the pillow, you ask yourself, am I proud of the effort that I put in today? Even if you didn't get results, even if most days you don't get results, if you put in effort that you are proud of, I promise you, maybe not on a daily basis, but I promise you, you will accomplish way more results than you would if you just did things that you tied your self-worth to winning, right? If you tie your self-worth to winning, then you just do things that you know you're gonna win at, or have a pretty high chance, right? A 90% chance of winning. That's what you're gonna do for life. And so therefore you play small for life. If you tie your self-worth to winning, you play small for life. If you tie your self-worth to the effort, you'll accomplish more than your wildest dreams.
Rule number 6, the last one before our very special bonus clip, fix your thinking.
How you think about the problem is the problem. Most people are locked into losing thinking, finding all the reasons why you won't win. If you're the ant, think about how you can kill the elephant. If you're the elephant, think about how you can kill the ant. The problem is not the problem. How you think about the problem is the problem. So I used to think that introverts couldn't win. I used to think that to be a good speaker, to have a YouTube channel, to be an entrepreneur, that introverts can't win. And for the longest time, I hid behind the faces on my website. So before even starting YouTube, I started on my website. It was called evancarmichael.com. I didn't have a better name at the time. And I profiled different successful entrepreneurs. Basically what I do on YouTube, but on my website, because I wanted to share the stories. Modeling success saved my business, and I wanted to make it easier for other people to be able to get success on their own as well. So learn who's done it, apply those strategies, make it work for you, and let's go. And so I always hid behind the faces. I remember my first banner, I had Howard Hughes, a big Howard Hughes, Oprah Winfrey, and a couple other people. And people kept asking me, well, where's Evan Carmichael? You know, the website's off your name, you're putting this together, what's your story? And I thought, well, who cares about my story? I mean, sure, I built and sold my first business, but it's nothing compared to Howard Hughes and Oprah Winfrey, these people who've done great things. And it kept coming up over and over and over again. Translate that to my YouTube channel, Evan Carmichael was still the #1 requested top 10. And when I first started doing top 10s, we did Kanye West, shout out to Kanye there on the wall, and then a bunch of other people kept asking for mine. Like, well, what do you want mine? You mean, again, what have I done compared to Kanye West? And I always hid behind the fact that I was an introvert. And so I don't want to share my story, nobody's interested, I'm shy, I'm the wallflower, I don't go off and try to make myself the center of attention, I don't like, hanging out with people. And so I had this story that introverts can't win. It wasn't until I reframed it and thought, you know what, introverts can win in communications because we're better listeners. I'm a great listener. As much as you might think I love talking and making these videos and seeing the speeches that I do, what I love doing more than that is listening. And I think that's how you win as an introvert, because it's not about you just sharing, talk, look at me. You're trying to help. And I've met some amazing introverts who are on a huge mission and want to have a big impact and have to fight with themselves to get out of their comfort zone and have the spotlight on them instead of just being behind the scenes. But they're all great listeners. They become great communicators because they're great listeners. And so the problem wasn't that I'm an introvert. The problem is how I thought about the problem of being an introvert.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you just get inspired, you watch a video, you get motivated, amazing. The science says you have a 35% chance of actually doing something, actually following through. That, Believe Nation, is not enough. That is not you, not now, not anymore, not today. But when you get inspired and then you create a specific plan of action for what you're going to do, that number jumps to 91% chance of you following through. And when you commit publicly to others, like leaving a comment in this video, it jumps to 95%. So the question of the day is your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below, and maybe next week I'll profile you.
You haven't said that this is the thing. This is what I have to accomplish today. This is the mission that I am on, and nothing is going to stop me. If you don't learn to focus on what's important to you, you'll never do important things and live your life reacting to what's important to other people instead. So I recently started a new business with one of my Thought Leadership Academy students, Jeremy. He came to my event last year. I was thinking about him on my tour this year and said, I want to start a business with Jeremy around YouTube consulting. I get asked a lot, hey Evan, can you check out my channel? Hey Evan, can I work with you? Hey Evan, can I hire you for XYZ? Looking at my channel, giving me ideas, mentoring, guiding me. And it's just not the business that I want to be in, but it is a business. And so I thought, Jeremy's going to come on board. He's going to do it. Now, when I recruited him and called him, he was not a YouTube expert. And I gave him the homework and said, listen, if you want to do this business together, it's got to be important to you. I'm halfway through my trip on my tour. I'm coming back in a month and a half. Here's what I need you to know by the end of the month and a half. And I gave him resources, I gave him videos, I gave him insights and analytics and said, you need to know all of this. Know all of this. And then when I come back, if you're ready, we'll start the business. And he did. He focused. He made it his priority. He knew nothing about this, and all of a sudden he became an expert by every day, all day long, grinding to learn. By researching everybody who is an expert at this, understanding their methodologies, their best practices, looking through all my videos, my thumbnails, my strategies, all the things that I've talked about in the past, digesting it, kind of like the Matrix, when Neo's in the Matrix and now he can learn Kung Fu, and now he learns how to fly a helicopter, all of that stuff. That's basically what he did. And when it came back in a month and a half, I put him to the test and said, hey, let's do 2 free calls. We'll take 2 people from my community and say, hey, free call, let's go. And he blew me away with how much he knew because he focused on it. Here's a guy who went from knowing almost zero to now being an expert to be able to really help give value to people. And now when we're looking at new people coming in, I barely have to do anything. Because he already knows what I'm going to say. He already knows. He's already done the work. He's done the research because he spent that time on focused effort. And this is where I think a lot of people feel like they're never going to win because you may not have had the expertise. You don't have the education. It doesn't take long to become an expert. It's just focused work that you're passionate about. Focused work. You could quickly become, in a matter of months, an expert at something if you just focus in on it and dedicate your life to that thing that you love. You can easily pass people who are experts at something who don't love their thing, but because you're willing to take it on, you're willing to absorb. Think about when you went to school. How much of the information you had in your head, but you had to read over the page 4 times. So you're at the same page 4, 5, 6 times because you got lost, you got distracted. That's not focused work because you don't love that thing.
If you want to learn how to develop a strong mindset to success, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
Getting a strong mind doesn't come from you doing one giant, huge thing. It's the daily battle